wake up today to be average. So why are we living that way? I truly do believe that God wants us to be wealthy. God desires for us to live our best. You can have everything that you want in this life. You can have the money, the family, the marriage, the business, the car, whatever it is that you want. You can have it. Wealth is your birthright. You deserve to be wealthy. These are the secrets of a money mogul, the keys to living an abundant life. Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 3 of the Secrets of a Money Mogul podcast. I'm your girl, Jalesa Ann, and I'm on a mission to help 1 million women reach financial freedom. And I want to thank you so much for joining me today. Today, I got a good topic to talk to you guys about today. I'm excited about today's topic because it is something that I had to learn, something that I struggled with, and we are going to talk about that today. So, how was your week, guys? I hope you guys had a great week. It is freezing here in Dallas. It's been very rainy and very cold, so sometimes that can kind of affect your mood when the weather is just kind of like blah. But I'm pushing through it, and we're getting this episode out. My 9-month-old is sleeping, so this is the perfect time for me to sneak away and get a little bit of work done. And I hope you moms out there can relate. You got to get in work when you can get it in because free time is so golden, such an asset. I just didn't realize how much time I had before I had kids. But yeah, thank you for listening. Today's episode, I want to talk about the key to your success. The key to your success. And I want to tell you that the key to your success, if you've been wondering, if you've been praying, if you've been asking God, what is the key to success? What is the secret? Someone give me the special sauce. Someone give me the secret recipe. And I want to tell you today that the key to your success is you. The key to your success is you. Henry Ford said it best when he said, if you think you can or you think you can't, you are right. You and your mindset determine your success. And this is something that I had to learn because I was so used to depending on everyone else for my success. My parents, my upbringing, my environment, the government, anything that I could blame my current situation on, I probably have done it. And I don't know if any of you guys out there can relate. But self-made millionaire Brian Tracy says it best when he says, if it's to be, it's up to me. And my life didn't change until I realized that no one was coming to save me. There was no Superman, there was no Batman, there was no queen in a foreign land. There was no one coming to save me. I had to be a part of my own rescue. And there was a quote, a video of Oprah floating around on social media quite a few years back that I posted on my page where she says, if you are waiting for someone to help you, save you, you're wasting your time. You're wasting your time. It is time to take personal responsibility for where you are in your life so that you can have your power back. Because whenever you aren't taking personal responsibility for your life, you are giving your power to someone else. You are literally handing the keys to your success to someone else. And whoever you're handing it to does not care about your success. They don't care about your car. They don't care about, it's like handing the keys to a luxury vehicle to a stranger. That person is not going to drive that vehicle like you would drive it. They don't care about it. It's not their vehicle. They can crash it into a wall and it mean absolutely nothing. So when you are handing over the keys to your success to a stranger, they're not going to take care of it like you would. And I think that that's where a lot of us miss the boat. That's where I was missing the boat. And when it comes to financial success, I really feel like many people are waiting on the government, they're waiting on their job, they're waiting on their manager, they're waiting on, a rich man. Let's be real, ladies. Can I be real with you for a moment? How many of us were waiting for a rich man? We're waiting for to marry into wealth, to hit the jackpot, there there are plenty of women out there who are waiting for a man to be their financial plan, and that's just not feasible. I mean, it's not it's not like the movies. Real life is nothing like the movies. Prince Charming doesn't come and sweep you off your feet. And when it comes to our financial success, some of us are even just waiting on the lottery. Like, I hate to have conversations with people, and we're talking about financial success, and we're talking about their goals and their desires, and the first thing that they're saying is, oh, I just need to hit the lottery. Oh, when I hit the lottery, when I come up on $1 million through hitting the lottery. And I'm just like, do you not know how powerful you are? Do you not know that your keys to making $1 million are already in you? That you don't have to depend on the lottery, where, in a true lottery winning, you're more likely to be struck by lightning than you are to win the lottery. And even when people win the lottery, most of the times they are dead broke several years later. They've lost all of their wealth. And the reason being is because they were not conditioned for that wealth, meaning they didn't have the mindset for that wealth. So wherever your mindset is financially, your life will always reset itself to that mindset. So if you have a poverty mentality, if someone comes and hands you a bag of money and there's $10 million in that bag, no matter how long you have that bag, no matter what, you will somehow, your situations will bring you back to your poverty mindset and bring you back to whatever mindset was before you had that $10,000, unless you change it. So, I was looking for success in everything but me. I didn't believe that I was the key to my success. So who was I waiting on? Who and what was I waiting on? And this is probably going to be the first time that you guys hear this story from me. I'm being very open about it. But I spent my early years, I've been on my own for a long time, since I was 17 years old. You guys may know my story. My mom was a single mom, and growing up, I watched her struggle when it came to money. And when it was time to leave the house, y'all, I was out. I was never coming back. And I was pretty much on my own. I know a lot of millennials have the option to go live at home and get the support of their families. And I've always slightly had a little bit of envy for my millennials who have that option. Um, and I'm okay with saying that now, because I'm kind of I don't carry that envy anymore. But in the beginning, I used to be very resentful because I never had that option. And so while I was out on my own, being 17, out in the world, trying to figure out and navigate life, being in college and everything, I was waiting on Prince Charming to save me. I thought that a man was my financial plan, y'all. I had it all figured out. Um, and I don't talk much about my past relationships, because um, I currently have an amazing husband, an amazing partner who loves me and supports my vision. But if I can be real with y'all for a moment, I kissed a few frogs, actually a few toads, actually probably some things uglier than those two. And I thought that they would turn into Prince Charming, and Prince Charming would have deep pockets, and these deep pockets would save me. from my financial situation, from my own poverty mindset, from the world that I came from, from what I had seen growing up. And that was the only way that I thought I was able to get out, until I met a mentor who told me that I had to be a part of my own rescue, who told me that the keys to success were within me, who told me that I had to be what I wanted to attract in a man, that I couldn't be, broke and have this poverty mindset and just be a leech, wanting to just take from my partner and have nothing to give to this situation but a pretty face. um, my mentor told me I had to be what I wanted to attract. If I want to attract a guy that has good credit, that has a great income, that has a great career, I had to be pursuing that. If I wanted to attract a guy that had a great business and was a great entrepreneur and those types of things, like, I needed to be that. And a lot of women, there are a lot of women that are still looking to a man to be their financial plan. And, you know, I'm not judging. I'm not judging at all. But if I can tell you anything today, I'm telling you that you have to be a part of your own rescue. I had to be my own financial plan. I have to be the one to rescue me. I had to be the one to pull myself out of the pit that I had dug for myself. Because if you guys know, I had dug myself a pretty deep pit. I was deeply in debt when I graduated from college. And I was lost. I didn't really know what to do. So I went into the finance industry, ended up getting laid off from a major company, and I didn't really know where to turn then, because at that moment, I didn't have the financial support. I didn't have anywhere to go, first of all, and the second of all, I didn't have the financial support. I didn't have the savings and the mindset and the things that I needed in order to succeed, in order to make it through that. So I had to learn. I had to learn. So, um, I had to realize that my life was a result of my choices. So, what had brought me to that point was a result of the choices that I had made. And if I wanted my life to be differently, I needed to start making different choices. So, one thing that I know was a choice for me was, even though I was laid off from my job and, it was kind of a surprise, I had actually heard rumors before the layoff happened. I think we all had heard rumors that, the company wasn't doing too well. They were thinking about closing that division of the company. And I just ignored them. And it was easy for me to play the victim and say, "Oh my gosh, these companies aren't loyal. You devote all your time, working hard for them, being the best employee." I was one of the top producers for this company. So when I got laid off, I was devastated. But looking back, there were signs. There were definitely signs that I ignored. So I did play a part in that, because what would have happened if I had have listened to those signs beforehand and I had have began seeking employment earlier? What would have happened if I would have, found another job earlier, started my business earlier, had, what would have happened had I have actually taken responsibility for my actions? And what could I have done differently if I had have chose differently, looking at those signs? And even, when I was staying in a job that I was severely underpaid, I stayed because I thought, one day my manager would see what I was worth and would pay me what I was worth. But that's not what happens. I made the choice to stay even though there were other options for me. And so I was a part of that. I was contributing to that. And at that point, I was a part of my failure as well as I could have been a part of my success when I began making different decisions. When I began making different decisions, that's when things really started to change for me. And here's the thing. sometimes we stay because we believe that we aren't enough. But you already are enough. You already have everything that you need to be successful. You already have, no matter what life gives you, that's never going to change. Gravity is gravity, right? If I jump off a 10-story building, I'm going to hit the ground. No matter if I'm a good person, no matter if I'm a bad person, no matter if I'm a woman or a male or black or white, or it doesn't matter. Gravity is the same, and there are some rules of success that do not change no matter who you are. And the key to your success being you is one of those. We're not all dealt the same cards. There are plenty of people who had a rougher life than I did, who went through way more than I did, more abuse, more traumatic situations. There are plenty of people who have had really hard lives. We don't get to choose the cards that we are dealt, but all we can do is play those cards to the best of our ability. So, today I want to talk about, I know I kind of just touched on that just a little bit, but today I want to talk about how 5 ways to be accountable for your own actions and take back your life. Because if you are going to reach true success, if you are going to have true wealth and abundance in your life, you are going to have to take full responsibility for where you are, what brought you here, so that you can change it, so that you can begin to make different decisions, so that you can begin to change the trajectory of your life. You do not have to stay where you are. And that's the thing. Some of us get so caught up in where we are, we think we have to stay there. We think we have to stay in that job. We think we have to stay in that bad relationship. We think we have to stay being friends with that person that is verbally and mentally abusing us, that is throwing shade every time we see them. We think we still need to go to brunch with them because we've been friends with them for 10, 15 years. And I'm here to tell you that you don't. Today you can make a different decision. Today you can decide something different. But 5 things, five ways to be accountable for your own actions. So the first way that we have to be accountable for our own actions is that we have to take full responsibility. Your life is 100% your responsibility. When I was working with clients about with money, when I was working with clients, my financial coaching clients, this is the key that I always told them. Your financial situation and where you are right now is 100% your responsibility. It is not your job's responsibility. It's not your manager's responsibility. It's not anyone else's responsibility but yours. Remember that quote that I quoted earlier from the self-made millionaire Brian Tracy, and say it to yourself often. Say it to yourself every time that you don't want to take responsibility for your own actions. Say it to yourself. Say, if it's to be, it's up to me. It's up to me and only me. No one else. I can't blame anybody else. Which brings me to the point number 2, which is the second way to stay accountable for your own actions, is to stop blaming. Stop blaming everybody else. Stop blaming your environment. Stop blaming your parents. I think it's very common for us to blame our parents. And I had to learn this because I used to try to blame my mom for everything. But the truth of the matter is that my mother had me at a very young age, and she did the absolute best that she can do with the knowledge that she had at that time. And I have to commend her on that because she did everything that she can to provide a better life for me. And I'm thankful for that. I'm absolutely thankful for that. But I cannot blame her for anything in my life because everything that I'm doing now as an adult is my responsibility. So decide today that you will never blame another person for where you are. Like I said, when you start blaming other people, you are giving them the keys to your luxury car that they care nothing about. So even if they care about it a little bit, they're not going to care about it like you care about it. You're giving them the keys to your financial future. You are giving them the keys to your success, and they don't care about your Tesla. They might just drive it into a brick wall and walk away with no scratches and say, "Hey, I'm sorry I wrecked your car." They don't care about it like you care about it. So don't hand those keys to anybody. Um, don't give that power away to anybody. So that's number 2, is to stop blaming. The third way to be accountable for your own actions is to focus on the positive. Focus on the be optimistic. So, what are the lessons that you've learned in this particular situation or this particular season in your life? Um, what's the positive thing that you can pull out of it? And one thing you have to do is you have to begin to remove the negative people from your life and the negative energy from your life, because trust me, you don't need it. It could be the one thing that is dragging you down. Those people who, I think they call them energy vampires, who, like, you talk to them on the phone and you just feel so drained, like you had energy before you got on the phone with them, but you don't know what happened. At this point, you have no idea. You just know that you feel completely drained and exhausted after talking to this person, because they literally just suck all the energy from you. And one of my favorite motivational speakers, his name is Billionaire PA. You guys look him up if y'all don't know who he is. He says, never spend your present time with someone you don't have a future with. Never spend your present time with someone you don't have a future with. And it's so true, because it's like, if I don't see a future with you, if I see myself as extremely successful and as extremely wealthy, and I know that you are not a part of that plan, let me cut you loose right now. And this is extremely important for romantic relationships. Sometimes we trying to hold on to people that, God has been telling us to let go of. So release that negative energy and learn how to be optimistic. Learn how to look at the situation and pull out the lessons from it. When I got laid off in 2013, all I did was pull lessons from it, because I saw exactly where I did not want to be in 2 years, in 5 years, in 6 years. I saw what I wanted to change. I wanted to be able to pay off on my debt. I wanted to be able to have savings. I wanted to be able to have multiple streams of income. I don't ever want to have to sit here and depend on anybody else to write my paycheck but me. Does that mean that I'll never have a corporate job? Not necessarily. If I decide I want to go back to corporate America, or somebody hires me as a corporate consultant, I will gladly go back. But the difference will be that it will not be my only source of income. That I won't have to stay there if I don't want to. So make sure that you are seeing the positive in every situation and pulling the lessons out so that you can use them to propel yourself to the next level. So the fourth way for you to be accountable for your own actions is to ask yourself what you could have done differently. What could you have done differently? So, going back to the example about my layoff from my job, when I begin to tell you that, as I began to um, look back on the situation, I realized that there were signs. There were plenty of signs that the company was going under. Even when we got called into the meeting was at 3 o'clock. So, lunchtime that day, people were having full conversations about the possible layoff, because it was not really that much of a secret at that point anymore. Um, and it was clear that at 3 o'clock, this was what the meeting was going to be about. But had I have not ignored the signs, I could have been more prepared. I could have absolutely been more prepared. So ask yourself, what is the one thing you could do today to be a better financial steward? What is the one thing that you could do today to be a better mother, or be a better wife, or be a better businesswoman? What could you do differently today? What habit can you put in place today that can change your life? Even if it just means, today I'm going to wake up tomorrow I'm going to start waking up 20 minutes early so that I can read and have quiet time to meditate, quiet time to pray, quiet time to read my Bible, quiet time to get my mind right. Just one small change. It doesn't have to be this huge, I'm going to change my whole schedule and change everything. But what is one small thing that you can do to change your financial life, to change your relationships? What's one thing? Ask yourself. And then the fifth way to be accountable to your own for your own actions is to focus on the bigger picture. Focus on the bigger picture. So our actions do not only affect us, they affect the people around us. And they especially affect our children and what we are teaching them, because, children learn through examples. They don't necessarily learn by what we tell them. They are watching our every move. I realized that a lot of the things that I had learned about money, I learned from watching people in my family. I learned from watching my mom. I learned from, watching my aunts and uncles. And, a lot of those things are not told to me. No one ever told them to me, but I learned them through observation. So, our lives are not all about us. It's a bigger picture. It's about the lives that we are going to change through living our life as our authentic self. So sometimes we got to get outside of ourselves and say, once I take full responsibility for my actions, once I take the keys to my car back and I get in my Tesla, and I start it up and I get started on my journey to financial freedom, and I get started on my journey to success, who else will be inspired by my story? Whose life is going to change? What kind of platform am I going to give my children to stand on once I get it together? Once I'm able to, achieve these things. So that's all I really have for today, y'all. I just want to keep it short, keep it simple. This is something that God really put on my heart. The key to your success is you. You hold the keys. Do not give your power to anybody else. Don't give it to a man. Don't give it to a job. Don't even give it to your best friend, your mom. I don't care who it is. You hold the keys to your success. And I'm going to end today's episode with a quote from one of my favorite motivational speakers, who is Jim Rohn. I love his teachings. He is someone I have studied for years and years and years. And he says this: you must take personal responsibility. You cannot change the circumstances, the seasons, or the wind, but you can change yourself. And that's from Jim Rohn. So thank you all for listening. I hope you have a great day. Thank you so much for listening to today's podcast episode. I know that you know 3 to 5 people who could have listened to this episode, who need this information. So I want you to do me a favor. Open up your smartphone. Go ahead and text them the link to this episode. Send it to them via social media and tell them to check it out. I really appreciate it. Sharing is caring. So I really do love when you guys share this with your network, when you let them know about how this podcast is helping you change your life. Each one teach one. Also, if you are ready to get your financial life in order, I have a masterclass that I taught, which is called The 5 Secrets to Wealth Creation. And it is still available, so you are able to access that. And if you would like to click the link in the show notes, or go to www.mymoneymogul.com to access that class and get your financial life in order and learn how you can create wealth So it's 5 secrets to to wealth creation, and we are talking about financial wealth in this course. So thank you for listening, and I will see you again next week. Thank you.